Welcome everyone to Leaf Status Report for October 30th, 2025. I ran the rest of the NHL regular season 1,500 times today, 1,500 on the nose. There's only one game to talk about today, and that was the Leafs playing the Blue Jackets yesterday. One game, however, has completely created the Leafs' projections across the board. So we're going to dive into that right now. The Leafs lose 2.1 expected points today, going from 95.4 expected points yesterday to 93.3 expected points today. We can break this loss of 2.1 expected points down into four main factors. Because the Leafs were expected to score about 1.2 points in the standings against the Blue Jackets yesterday, but they lost in regulation. They lose a clean 1.2 expected points from that. The Leafs lose a staggering 1.25 expected points from this new game being fed into today's simulation. Because I keep the last 82 games that each NHL team plays, and the game that this 3-goal loss to the Blue Jackets replaced was a 3-goal victory, this was naturally a very large effect. The Blue Jackets' half of the statistics being fed into the simulations today led to a 0.04 loss of expected points. The sum total of these three factors is 2.49 expected points lost, and that is because we actually saw a gain of 0.39 expected points due to sampling randomness in the model. Today, we've seen the Leafs' points window tighten and move slightly to the left. The minimum number of points the Leafs scored in a simulated season today was 68, down 1 point from a minimum of 69 yesterday. And the maximum number of points the Leafs scored in a simulated season today was 118, down 3 points from 121 yesterday. This gives us an effective points range of 50 today. Today, the Leafs playoff odds dropped by 9.6%. Yesterday, they made the playoffs in 73.1% of all seasons we simulated, and today they've made the playoffs in 63.5% of all seasons we've simulated. Obviously, there are two main factors to this. It's going to be from the only two teams that played games today. On one side, the Leafs, of course, lost 2.1 expected points, which closes in on the Blue Jackets from above. And on the other side of things, the Blue Jackets have seen a significant improvement in their own projected standings. They were wild card 4 yesterday. They're wild card 2 today. So they've certainly closed on the Leafs, and the Leafs have closed down on them as well. Now let's look at the table. As we can see, the Leafs have slipped to third in the Atlantic now in all the projections. They now sit 0.5 expected points behind second in the Atlantic, which is currently held by the Montreal Canadiens. They sit 7 expected points behind the division-leading Tampa Bay Lightning. They sit 1.9 expected points ahead of the first wildcard slot, held by the Detroit Red Wings. And they sit 3.3 expected points inside the playoffs. 3.3 expected points is not a bad margin still, but it does mean that if we get all the wrong results over the next few days, we could see the Leafs slip out of a projected playoff spot. The Leafs do not have a game today. However, there are 5 games that I am going to say are important enough to the Leafs' playoff chances in tomorrow's projections to make it worth paying attention to them. A couple of these games are actually already going to have started by the time this video is posted, but I will mention them anyway. We have the Senators, the Ottawa Senators are worth paying attention to. They're playing the Flames at 7. The Boston Bruins are playing the Buffalo Sabres. I now have the Buffalo Sabres moving into an expected points window where I think they are close enough that we have to start worrying about their impact on Leafs playoff odds. The New York Islanders are playing the Carolina Hurricanes at 7:30. The Pittsburgh Penguins are playing the Wild at 8 p.m. And the Detroit Red Wings are playing the Los Angeles Kings at 10:30 Eastern. Overall, of course, as usual, if most of these teams lose their games, we could see the Leafs make up some of the ground they lost today. But if all of those teams or most of them win their games, especially by commanding margins, we could see the Leafs slip a bit further. I'm happy to announce that hopefully starting tomorrow, I'll be running these season simulations multi-threaded. Um, Tomorrow, I'm going to be trying to run on 3 threads to see if I can get away with it. Individual seasons simulate slower if I multi-thread. However, it's only like 15% slower per season, and if I can run 3 threads at the same time, then obviously that's still a huge speed up. So hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll have a much larger sample size tomorrow. Anyway, stay tuned for tomorrow, and we'll see what happens.